Wednesday travelled down to Portman Road to face an Ipswich team who were the top scorers in the division. Wednesday, obviously the best defence in the division, so always going to be a good game. Therefore, I'm very erratic going into game now. Wednesday, 6 wins out of 6. I've got to be honest, I fancied our chances before kick-off, especially with the result we got last week against Plymouth. Wednesday had to make a couple of changes today, and old Callum Paterson obviously out with his hamstring. And before kick-off, a huge blow, Malik Wilks and Gregory, who I actually fancied to start today, both out badly. Callum Paterson injured last week, gone off with his hamstring, looks like he's going to be out for the best part of the rest of the season. So Wednesday had to make changes. Line-up: Cam Dawson in goal, back three. Dominic Iofa, Aidan Flint, Akin Famewo. Midfield: Liam Palmer restored to right wing-back spot. Central three: Volks, Byers and Bannon. Marvin Johnson on the left. And Josh Windass and Smudger Smith up top. Good team on paper though, but it just shows that the loss of Patterson in there, especially Palmer's had to move into right wing-back spot again. Which in normal times would be great. That frees Patterson up, then it offers you something different up front, especially with Wilks and Gregory out. So to have him out with a hamstring, that is a massive hammer blow. A player like Patterson, I think a lot of people only realise his loss when he's not there. And I think they only appreciate what he does when he's not there. His versatility has been a huge part of the success we've had this season so far, and I'm absolutely wounded he's out. Gregory and Wilks, bit of a worry. There was a rumour before game that Wilks had done something to his leg, but apparently they are both just badly. I'm saying just badly. I were badly the other year at Christmas. About 12 weeks I went out with a chest infection. Well, I say I drag myself into work every day, you do, don't we? Different generation, I suppose, now. Some folks not first time there's a cracking flask. Ipswich, host of signings at Christmas time, January, bolstered their squad, and I've talked for a few weeks, has that upset apple cart a bit? You know, they brought a lot of players in there, and if you know, a football team's a finely tuned thing, innit? Too many changes can upset things. First half today, I thought that was going to be the case. But let's have a quick look at their team. A lot of talk before kick-off that Ipswich might go to a 3 at the back or a 3-4-3 to combat Wednesday. As it was, they went with a 4-2-3-1, although a lot of time it was a 4-5-1. Walton in goal, back four: Clark, Wolfenden, Burgess and Davies. Morsey and Humphreys in the middle, supported by Burns, Chaplin and Broadhead. George Hurst, ex-Wednesday youth, at centre forward. Really frenetic start to the game, and it reminded me a lot of like an old 1980s game of football, do you know what I mean? Two teams going for it, getting ball from back to front very quick, sometimes bypassing midfield. I don't mind that now and again. Both teams having a little spell of possession in there, and a really good watch. And I like to watch this game as a neutral, obviously as a Wednesday fan or an Ipswich fan. First half, second half, fuck, you know. But I would have loved to have seen a game like that as a neutral. Like I said, a very old-fashioned game in a lot of ways. First chance was to them. Broadhead sneaks away down left-hand side, little cutback, and Chaplin sort of gets underneath it, scoops it, and it's a comfy chest save for Dawson. Probably a minute after that, Wednesday get their first chance. Barry Bannon's drifted out to right-hand side, cuts in, pings a brilliant left-foot ball. Smith comes in, takes it on chest. Their lad's got hold at arm, but takes it on chest, just volleys, just slams out. It's about 5 yards of it bar the end, but end-to-end stuff. There's lots of tackles going in, lots of headers going in. There's a lot of energy from both teams, and then they get a corner on left-hand side. It comes in. I thought it come off Burns. He gets whipped in, goes up. I'm convinced it's off him. Goes out for a corner on the other side. They work a short one. Next thing, flag. 2 weeks on spin, this, you know. Got a referee who stood 2 yards away. He can see all action, you know. And there's some clown 50 yards away. And ref runs over. What's up, pal? Penalty, far side. Referee, Are you sure? Because I'm stood 2 yards away and I couldn't see out, but you've seen it from 50 yards away through the bodies of 19 players. Fuck it, I hate linesmen in this division. I'll tell you what's happened here. 2 players are both pinging at that one. Like they do when ball's about coming. And then one's just there. And liner. Anyway, justice served because Dawson saved penalty. Chaplin steps up, left footer. I know some of you will know my theory about right-handed left footers taking penalties. But tries to get out middle. Dawson goes, saves it with his legs. Justice served as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if referees give penalties every time someone's got hold of your arm and you try and shake them off, I'll look forward to some, school playground dinner time scores coming in. Know what I mean? Tottenham Hotspur 17, Manchester City 12. Get a pen every time somebody's get off your hundreds of penalties a game. It's a really hectic game. Like I said, it's a bit like a sort of late 80s football match. Both teams are going for it, tackles going in, headers, end to end. Both teams not afraid to ping that big diagonal across pitch. And I think the word I'd use to describe it is hectic. It's a very hectic game. There's little windows of a minute and 2 minutes here and 2 minutes there where both teams are having a little bit of possession. But then it's because they're both pressing each other. Wednesday got control more in middle and they got it down side. They got Davis at left full back and Clark at right full back. And obviously we're playing wing backs with 3-5-2 and they were just trying to overload us down side all the time. So it's like Davis and Broadhead down left hand side, Clark and Burns down right hand side, and they're trying to isolate Johnson and Palmer and get them 2v1s. But as it is, that worked against them because their full-backs were that far forward. They were leaving 2-on-2 at back every time. So Smith and Windass, it was just him and Burgess and Wolfenden, and it was a 2v2, which Wednesday take lead on 26 minutes. Absolutely fantastic header from Michael Smith. Starts with a little free kick down on near touch line. Bannon plays a little ball. Johnson helps it on that line. Fantastic ball from Windass. I mean, he is right footed, but he puts a lovely cross in with left foot. Plenty of swaz on it. Smith gets in and guides it across goal into the far corner, and ball actually gets caught up in netting, but it was lovely, lovely goal. Gives Wednesday lead and settles nerves a bit because, like I said, it had been end to end, very hectic. And what the fuck are they doing up there? After goal, Wednesday have a little spell. It settled nerves a little bit because, like I said, frenetic start to the game. And Ipswich, for their part, they're starting to look a little bit jangly there, crowd's gone down a notch after goal. Their players are just having that little bit of frightened deer in headlights with ball touches, especially with 2 set of halves being isolated so much. And this was probably Wednesday's best spell at game. Wednesday scored in 33 minutes. There's an absolute farcical thing before that, though. It's Wednesday's free kick. And Will Volks gets booked for time wasting. Now, it's a free kick. Ball's up floor. There's about 3 players. Volks walks towards it, picks it up, then chucks it to Flint. The entire thing, from the moment he walks towards ball, picks it up and chucks it to Flint, is 3 seconds. 3 seconds. You've got goalkeepers taking half an hour to take a goal kick. Ref comes over, can't wait to get his card out. 3 seconds. I'd like to see what he'd do when he's got Wickham come to town. Or Gillingham. They've been left on park. Anyway, free kick to Wednesday. Smith's hard on touchline, nods it on down line to Johnson. He cuts inside, does well to keep possession. Somebody comes to close him down on a bouncing ball. Flicks it out to Bannon. He lofts it in. Bit of a crowd scene in there. It bobbles down. And George Byers charging in. We talk about this all the time. And it's something we missed when we lost Kieran Lee. We've got one now, George Byers, a midfielder that will get up and joint centre forwards. So it gets knocked down, a combination of Windass and their centre half. Byers comes in, steaming in, but it's a really calm finish because even though it's all happening at 100 mile an hour, Nice connection with instep and sweeps it right across keeper. Easy to get them wrong and ladder them off at bar. Sweeps it right in past keeper. 2-0 Wednesday in this really good little spell that they're having. And Portman Road is quiet. Yeah, Wednesday's best spelling game, that. And this is the bit where you're like, oh. This is the typical Wednesday moment, you see, because at 2-0, 2 minutes after that, a glorious opportunity. Morsey knocks a little short ball into Clark. It's a bit of an hospital pass. He's under pressure. He knocks a blind back pass. Wolfenden's expecting it on the other side and it comes his side. Smith sneaks in. Keeper comes heading out of his goal. And Smith can either shoot then or try and get past him. But he tries to get past him. Not wrong with that. It's a one-on-one. Their first touch. Oh, he takes it 10 yards away. It's a shocking first touch. And your centre forward. And he scored a fantastic header. He's absolutely fantastic header. But that touch is... I think he's just had a babby, hasn't he? Maybe he's been having some late nights and that, but it's that fraction of a second taking your eye off ball and just look a big touch like that. Goes really far wide. It ends up on the side of 18-yard box, so we managed to work it back in and Wilks gets a left-footed away, I think it is, but it's such a wasted opportunity. It's a clear-cut chance. One-on-one. We're already 2-0. Portman Road's quiet. 3-0. Game's over. Dead and buried. They were rocked at that stage. They were not getting back from 3-0 down. No way in the world. That would have been game over. See it out. Jobs are good in. Beat Plymouth. Beat Ipswich. Away we go. And I've talked about it this season and last season. Little moments in games. Little hinges that turn. And that, I'm afraid, today were biggest hinge. 41 minutes, they're back in game, so it's been an entertaining contest, end to end. And Wednesday have their spell, they get 2 goals, they're absolutely rocking. We miss a bloody sitter. And in 41 minutes, they get back in game, and it's an absolutely fantastic free kick, brilliant free kick. Shouldn't have been a free kick because kids fell over, but wonderful free kick from Broadhead, and he's a terrific footballer. Great player last season for Sunderland. Although it's one of the great ironies, Broadhead getting injured, which made Sunderland have to change the way they played and change their shape, which inadvertently found a way getting past Wednesday. The terrific player, fantastic free kick. He's about 5 yards outside, but spanks it right into the corner. There's absolutely nothing that Dawson can do about it. But it shouldn't have been a free kick, because he fell over. It would have dived. He didn't even bite it. He didn't. You know, if a player comes in and swings a leg at something and you move ball out last minute and they clatter your shins, well, that's maybe not the most sporting thing, but you have bought a free kick. You have bought a foul. They fouled you. Nobody touched you. I don't care what anybody says. He's a great player and he's got that spank on him. Why would he take a dive? I'll tell you why he'd take a dive, because he knew that even if he got past Iofa, which he were going to, that he got bloody man mountain in Flinting way. He weren't going to get through there and all. He weren't going to get a shot past that. Look at the size of him. But it's a great free kick, you've got to say. And when you've got somebody who can hit a dead ball like that, you can see why he dived. I spent a lot of time on flooring. I think turf sniffer. Second half, you know, it's half time, sat there. I mean, having something to eat and thinking, well, 2-1. Should have been 3-0, should have been out of sight, should have been game over, but we've still got a lead, we've still got something to defend. You know, if we can have another little spell like we did in probably, I would say, 10 minutes to 25-30 minute range. Winning this, we could probably get another goal. They come out flying, Ipswich. They come out at trap second half, absolutely flying. I don't know if he must have been chucking teacups about at half time, because they really come out. They were like a greyhound out at traps. And 49 minute, 2-2. I really feel for George Byers here, because he's had a double involvement in this goal. He goes out to left hand side, it's some left full backish position, but outside box. Chaplin's got ball, and this is what I talk about. This is intelligent foreplay with Chaplin, and he gets a free kick. It is a free kick. Byers is running in to close him down. He's sweeping his leg to take ball. Chaplin sees it coming, and he just shifts ball, and Byers clatters his shins, and it's a free kick. Good play by Chaplin. Byers' free kick, no problem with that. Not like Broadhead, who just fell over. Davis comes over to take it. Young lad with left foot. It's a good hit, but Dawson's just going to get it. It's a good hit, but it's straight. There's not too much whip on it. It's going to be a comfortable catch for the keeper of his quality. And just unfortunate again, Byers, you're away from home. It's 2-1, they're coming out, all guns blazing. You're desperate to do well. Gets his head on it, trying to clear it. Can't fault him for that, but he diverts it past Dawson. He can't do it when it's 2-2, when you're just thinking, we've got to weather the storm here. They're pressing really high up this half. Like I said, they were pushing fullbacks on first half, linking with wingers. And second half that continued, but a much higher tempo, closing down a lot more. And they were trying to, I think they were trying to isolate Dom Iorfa a bit. I think he had a good game, Dom. You know, they've got some good players. That Leif Davis, a very good player on overlap. Broadhead's a good player, as we know. Bit of a ground eater, but I think they were trying to isolate Iorfa, but he was standing up to it. But what he has got against him is, when it's not about his skill or his ability to defend it out like that, he looks ungainly. He's big, he's a bit gangly, and a referee at this level, all fucking clowns, as we know. I think they're trying to get him sent off, because every time somebody goes near Iorfa, they don't flow. And most of the time, there's not even a touch. Could rally him up, but to be fair to big lad, he's staying calm. You know, a couple of minutes later, that Davis, there's a foot race, they shoulder to shoulder going for it, and suddenly that Davis is on the floor rolling about, and again, no in it. So tough watch, very tense, and I just thought, especially with officials at this level, I thought there could be a couple of yellows here for now, you know, and with players these have brought in January and all. They started making subs. Ladapo comes on. You know, I think he'd get it again for most teams in this division. Arnis comes on, who Portsmouth lad, another good player. Loco comes on. There's a lot of good players they've got. They've done some real strengthening in window. And I think that highlighted today that Wednesday's got a really good first 11, but we're not making ball stick. Second half, we're not having a lot of ball. It's backs to wall. They're all guns blazing at us. We're lumping it a lot of time. In the first half we were going long, but there was something to it. We're trying to hit Smith's chest, or we're trying to flip it in behind for Windass. We're just clearing it. We can't get the service into lads up front. When we do get it up there, it's not really sticking. And that's when you look into your bench, innit? Which is what they do. They're looking at their bench. All right, we'll get Ladapo and he'll bring something different. We're looking at our bench. It's stuffed with midfielders. You know, and there's two kids on there. Gregory, Wilks, would they have brought something different? I think they probably would, you know, because Wilks is someone who likes to get ball and travel at people. And Gregory, the one thing I will say, it's that link play. And when you need, especially away from home, when you're on under cosh, you need someone who's going to get that ball in feet and just hold it and buy you a few seconds and just give everybody out. So we did look very thin today on bench, especially in forward areas. And Paterson's such a blow. 60 minutes, they should go 3-2. Corner, they've won that left-hand side. Iorford again, done really well to stick with his man who's tricky, that Broadhead, he's jinking. Corner to them, that Davis goes over, takes it, left foot, fantastic cross, absolutely wonderful cross. And Chaplin's in there, and it's a free header. He's got to bury that. He just puts it straight at Dawson. That should be 3-2 to them. It's a bit of a get out of jail for Wednesday. We've got a lot of big units in back line, and it's a free header. Actually, Wilks gets injured then, because as ball were coming in for Chaplin to get his head on it, just so George Hurst's and going Will Wilks' eye. But yeah, it should have been 3-2 Ipswich there. Wednesday, you've got to change something. We bring Delabishiro on, who's obviously a midfield player. He comes up as a sort of, a striker essentially. I mean, he's dropping into midfield because that's his natural drift position. He's always going to drift in there, and it's almost like a 3-4-1-1, just trying to bring something different to the game. That Clark, he's a good player, young right back. I'm quite impressed with him today. He got over that. What it crossed, what it shot, I don't know, but it had Dawson scrambling. That landed on the Rugford net, and it really was the Alamo in there. And what I will say is that this time last season, Wednesday would have lost this game. I've said that a few times this season, but we would have lost this game last year. They stuck in there for Mayo, Iorfa, Palmer, Flint, Ed, tackle, block. For Mayo, one absolutely fantastic clearance. Arness has come on. He's on left hand side. He cuts inside and he clips a ball, goes over everybody, and their lad is in. And for Mayo, switches on, reads it, gets there, and he hooks it away just as their lad's about to pull trigger. Absolutely fantastic interception. And that's what the second half were like. You were looking for positives from Wednesday, and the positives you were seeing were how hard they were working to defend that goal. And then, another little moment, Wednesday, we've sort of weathered storm. They've absolutely chucked everything at it, and I mean everything. It's bloody blitzkrieg out there. And then it just starts, because it's hard to keep it up, that relentless pressure, their manager at half time, I think he's just said to them, right, get out there, it's shit or bust, go for it. And they did go for it, and fair play, they got that early goal second half, and they were going for it and going for a winner. It's hard to keep that tempo up for a full 45 minutes. And Wednesday we're just weathering storm a bit, and we suddenly started to get one or two little breaks, and we got a free kick. It got arrowed into back. Flint gets up, heads it back into middle, into danger area. I think it's Wolfenden half clears it. He's on spin. I don't think he knows where the ball is. And Flint gets on it, connects. I think it clips top at bar. He absolutely canes it. It clips it, and it's one of them that, if it's not a centre half, it's probably in back end net. He's done really well to him first, and then that shot, and it's just fractions in it. Fractions. In any football game, fine margins. They'd have been gutted, because for the second half, mate, no bones about it, they battered us. But we could have nicked it 3-2 with that, like I said, little fine margins in games. So you're thinking, well, we'll take a point now, keep defending, lads. Game's just, I would say, calming down a little bit. That their relentless wave after wave is easing a bit. Wednesday's having these odd little breakouts, but at 90th minute, it should be over, and it should be 3-2 to it. So it's that Ladapo. Clark again, lovely ball into the middle, and Ladapo, he's half on fall, volleys it, scuffs it. If he connects with that in any way, shape or form, that's him back in net. But he sort of half scuffs it, and he adders it down into the turf and just wide at post. And what a heart-pounding game, honestly. End to end. Like I said, I would have loved to have seen this game as a neutral, but watching it as a Wednesday fan, absolute roller coaster. Really were. 2-2, terrific game of football. First half Wednesday, second half Ipswich. Point gained or a point lost, and like I said, it is both, and it is possible to be both, because first half, all over them, should have been 3-0, should have been game over, 2 points dropped. Second half, they're all over us. We've clung in there, and we have clung in there, by the way. That's a point gained. Man at match would have to be somebody in back three, or back four with keeper. Dawson, great handling, penalty save. Is that 2 penalties, 2 saves this season? No. I think he's proven a few critics wrong. Great handling. Would have got to that free kick if it hadn't took big deflection. Thought he was sound. Good kicking again. Smart on the edge of his box. Another good save with his feet, actually, about 5 minutes into the second half. Really good. Firmino started well and finished well, though he had a little sloppy spell in middle just after half time, although I think it was shock at speed they came out at traps. Big Dom, that was a very hard afternoon he's had. Very hard afternoon. And like I said, especially since I think they were trying to isolate him and get him in book and off me. But he stuck to it with honesty and integrity, and he head tackle. He's starting to look like his old son. I thought he was great. I think he'd have to be Flint. Right in middle there. Hurst never had a sniff, really. They changed it, put Ladapo in there. Didn't really give him any change. So good in air. So good in air. Powerful. And in a away game like this, you need players like that. You need players who's up for physical battle. You know, head, tackle, block. And I thought, God, he nearly won it. I wish he'd nicked it. I wish that had gone in. You know what a comeback to the club that'd have been. Yeah, some terrific performances defensively in there. Midfield, I didn't think we really got it going. They all worked hard, you know, Volks, Byers, Bannock, they all worked hard, but it didn't really break for them today in there, especially in that second half. Forwards had very little to work on, but it's a great team performance defensively. I know that sounds stupid when we've conceded 2 goals, but first goal's an absolute worldie from set piece after dive. And second one's a big deflection, so although we've conceded 2 goals after X many clean sheets, as a team, I think overall, they defended very, very well. But yeah, man at match, Aidan Flint. So, the table and the results then. Plymouth, back to the top of the table. 64 points. Wednesday's draw puts them second with 62 points. Plymouth, South Coast derby today against Portsmouth. No surprise, their manager, they've won 3-1. Cosgrove back on the score sheet. Hardy back on the score sheet. He must be ruining the day that he dropped them last week against Wednesday. 2 at best strikers in division. Barmy decision. Back in today amongst the goals. 3-1 at Portsmouth. 4th place, Bolton Wanderers. 5-0 winners today. They're on 56 points. 5-0 winners away at Peterborough. Almeida Santos and a lad called Charles got an hat-trick down there. I don't know who he is. Keep an eye out for him. And of course Barnsley nicking another win there. I say this every week, clinging in there in that last playoff spot. 2-0 against Cambridge. Watters and Williams. No, honestly it's called Watters. It's W-A-T-T-E-R. It's not just accent. It is Watters. And of course, the other news that Derby County, 5th spot, 53 points. They lost today to Wickham, who were just outside playoffs of 47 points. And Lewis Wing, ex-Wednesday, doing us a favour there with a double. Oh, God. Wednesday, still that game in hand on Ipswich. And Plymouth. 2 points dropped to 1 point gained. Better both. But I'll tell you what, this time a fortnight ago, I'm looking at Plymouth, looking at Ipswich and saying, if I got 4 points out of them 2 games, I'd be happy with that. And I am happy with that. Thought it'd be the other way around. Thought it might be a point against Plymouth and a win against Ipswich, but that just shows you what football's all about, doesn't it? Hope can happen, and quite often it does.